Hello, everybody. On behalf of DA2 Festival, I'm here to present somebody. So my name is Mare Milin. I'm a Croatian photographer and artist, and visual artist to be true. And on the other side of this chat is Alec Von Bargen. He's a fellow artist, and yeah, as I thought, homo universalis, which is true. But in this case, visual artist and photographer and director. Hello, Alec.
How are you doing, Mate? Thank you so much for having me here. It's so good to be a part of this and to be spending some time with you and getting to speak a little more about this, you know, these themes that we're so passionate about, and especially getting to know you. I'm really excited about getting to know you and knowing a little more about yourself. But we are here for a purpose, and that purpose is what exactly?
Yes, the purpose is going to be introduced in a few seconds. So we are here to talk a bit about Gianni Berengo Gardin's. It's a film about him, The Tale of Two Cities, and the trailer is here.
Vivere a Venezia era bellissimo perché ero giovane e allora quando si è giovani è tutto bello.
Lui fotografa la bellezza di Venezia ovviamente, ma anche le storie dei singoli abitanti di Venezia.
Sia davvero molto importante che un giornalista, un artista, un fotografo decida di prendere posizione nei confronti del mondo. E questo Gianni lo ha fatto in modo coraggioso.
Oggi è tutto cambiato, sono foto che non si potrebbero più fare.
In questo momento la città vive e muore perché esiste un turismo sfrenato e un turismo non controllato e governato.
We always had ships. This is the reason of existence of Venice. In the past 15 years, the size of cruise ships has exploded.
For Venice, the lagoon is extremely important because it's the engine of life in the city. Today, the largest ships entering the lagoon of Venice are up to 300 meters and more. This determines huge wakes, and these wakes can resuspend tons of sediments.
We started to study the central part of the lagoon, and the regression of the coastal line was much more than 6-7 meters per year.
Quello che mi ha colpito più di tutto è l'inquinamento visivo. Questi mostri, se per caso per un guasto meccanico perdono la direzione giusta e vanno a sbattere, distruggono o San Giorgio o il Palazzo Ducale. Quindi ho deciso di fare queste foto di denuncia di questa situazione.
È così preoccupato e così preso da quello che sta succedendo che non mi sembrava possibile lasciar passare questo disastro senza poter testimoniare.
Il quotidiano La Repubblica ha fatto una piena pagina e da lì è nato lo scandalo.
It's time to find a solution to get them out.
La mostra prevista per cominciare nel mese di settembre e nel mese di luglio ci è stato che era sospesa la mostra, non era annullata, era solo sospesa.
Negli ultimi 10 anni sono sorti moltissimi comitati dal basso, Sono tantissimi i gruppi di persone che stanno cercando di fare qualcosa e la cosa non viene dalla politica, viene dai cittadini.
La vita è molto cara, manca una politica sull'alloggio fatta sia per i cittadini che per i giovani.
A Venezia non siamo nel 56.000, un centro storico, che a livello politico non abbiamo più nessuna forza, nessun peso, non esistiamo più.
Noi siamo in sintonia con un movimento mondiale, è l'inizio di una nuova era per questa città.
So that's Gianni Berengo Gardin.
Yes, you say Gardin and I say Gardin.
Yeah, I should actually say Gardin. So how did you approach the material? How did the material hit you when you saw it? Because you said you saw it twice. I saw it actually like 3 times over the past like 2 or 3 weeks. So coming from that world and coming from photography and with your practice, how did it hit you?
It actually hit me hard, especially because I saw the movie once in the morning and another time the same day in the evening. So at first I saw it at home and then at the cinema, at the DA2 Festival. And it really caused a mixture of emotions. First, the great admiration for the man that is of such importance to Italian photography. I can, if I were UNESCO or something, I would put him under Italian national treasure.
I know, it's crazy. Like forget questioning his motives. You would just give him what he needs, wouldn't you?
He's so dedicated to his art and so on his way. And I admire people that are still artistic, but on the same page every day. He's absolutely non-me because I'm different every day. I'm hard to follow. And Gianni, I admire that kind of people, and his eye, it's like impeccable, and those moments he caught both in the more photogenic past, because the past I watch it with such nostalgia. I was born in 1973, and I still remember the more photogenic surrounding, more beautiful cars, buses, beautiful dressed people. It's different today, but he still captures the beauty inside of the concept of ugliness, which is this elephant in the glass store problem that's happening in Venice. So that's from the artistic point of view, and the ecological, human, and other things that concern Venice and many fragile cities in the world, such as my home city, which also hosts cruisers. Big ships, but without that kind of damage. I can really relate to the subject, and I wish Serenissima is more serene. But at this time, maybe COVID, which is a curse, helped to the city to regain its essential beauty. In the very end of the movie, we see these vast images. We can hear the sea, not the traffic on the sea.
Exactly.
And it makes the tears come to my eyes, as if somebody reinterpreted the beginning of the movie, consisting of Gianni's beautiful photographies of Venetians, of life in Venice, as it used to be.
Exactly. And that's one thing that's always fascinated me as a visual artist. I mean, I don't consider myself a photographer. I use photography as the basis of my creation, but I'm always fascinated by photographers and creators that are inspired by their roots, from the place they come from actually seeing, paying attention, listening, feeling, smelling, their surroundings. I'm more inspired by what I don't know. And I'll go out and I'll find it and I'll look and I'll search and I'll, feel the emotions and everything. But what he's done throughout his entire career, which is being very present and very aware. So you started by saying, if you were UNESCO or if you were the Italian government or if you were, what he's done simply as a historian in the fact of documenting the soul of a country is something to me that should be celebrated no matter what. And one thing I found, and it was funny because I only really logged on to that the last time I saw the film, because I was questioning it the first couple of times I saw it, because it's extremely complex. There's so much going on.
Yes,
is it political? Is it economical? Is it simply, all the different interests that come in?
Ecological.
It's crazy. I mean, the amount of stuff. But one thing that hit me this last time I saw it, which to me was so beautiful, and unfortunately, it's probably the biggest problem that they've had up until this point, is that he actually says in the film that he was first attracted to document this situation because of the visual pollution. It wasn't because of the economics. It wasn't the politics. It was, as an artist, these aliens were coming in to disturb his visual scope, let's say.
He actually called them bestie.
Bestie
in an augmentative way, like bestioni or something like that. And I said, oh, I was actually having goosebumps because of that word. And then later, when I saw the photos that were exhibited in the Olivetti small gallery, I was at first sad that it wasn't the grand exhibition at the Palazzo Ducale, like prints, huge prints, but it was actually small, really, really beautiful.
And perhaps more effective, no? Perhaps it was much more effective because it forced you to actually come close and pay attention. And I completely agree with you with that. I mean, we don't know what it would have been like at the Palazzo Ducale, but what was managed at the Olivetti space was that it forced people to come close. But one of the things, that's why I said, this idea that he said it was visual pollution initially. And to me, that's one of the most, because I've worked in Venice. I spent about 2 months in Venice a year, and I've been doing this now for 10, because I work with the Venice Film Festival and the Biennale Cinema. So I'm there about 2 months a year. Well, yeah, no, it's beautiful, and I love being there, and I love spending time there. But sadly, obviously, for those of us that spend time in Venice, understand the culture, understand the city, understand the problematic of what's happening, we see these cruise ships come by, and it's almost like a dagger in our heart every time it happens. Whereas for the tourists that are there, every time a cruise ship comes by, it's like, it like glorifies Venice. So it became, I mean, I would literally stand there and you'd see people get up from the restaurants and run to the bridges to take photos of the cruise ship, and the contrast between old Venice and the new cruise ship became something like almost back to this thing of the visual pollution, almost aesthetically fascinating for the tourists. So the dynamic becomes even more complicated as to, there's only 50,000 people still living on Venice. So who's going to continue fighting for this? If they keep disappearing, the tourists won't.
I was watching those kids, the 3 kids from the film, talking about that. And I said to myself, you have to be really, really strong generation to keep on fighting for the city to survive as a city. I mean, not only the soul of the city, but the city made of bricks and stones and pillars and stuff. So what I wanted to say to you, what I really love is the title. It's so complex. The Tale of Two Cities. First, there's the city of Gianni's young times.
Exactly.
And then there's the city of these times. Then there is the city which is actually a cruiser. The cruisers are cities on water. Then there's this city and that city, and I don't blame the people, the common people, for being parts of mass tourism. I myself, I really don't like mass tourism. I would never be a part of that, a part of the crowd, guarded and guided by a shepherd. I'm not that kind of people. I'm not sheepish. Yeah. So to say, yeah, I would rent an apartment like for 2 months on some canal, go there, maybe spend the first 7 days in bed, then breathe the air, and then go out. It's my way, and I'm difficult to travel with because I want to immerse.
Of course. I mean, that as artists, I think that's what we seek and what we search. Well, I don't know, at least in my case. That's why it was so funny when I was, getting to know you offline before actually knowing you online. I was reading some of your interviews, and some of the answers you gave are so similar to what I would have said. So, when I was told that we were going to be working together, and commenting this together, I thought it was really fascinating that we have kind of a very similar mindset as far as that many things art related is concerned.
But you have photos on your walls behind you, and I have nothing.
Well, the only reason I have photos on my walls is this is the only corner of this entire apartment that the internet signal bounces off of. So I have to be safe in this corner more than the photos.
I sit in my dining room, which is connected to the living room, and unfortunately, I didn't have the courage to put anything on the wall because I wanna think those walls over and over and over. So then a bunch of framed things sits there.
They're waiting.
On the floor and waits.
They're waiting for your inspiration to put them up.
Yeah, I think so. But I never have the time for the inspiration because of my commercial work, which is actually pretty much time consuming and makes me, come up with the ad hoc ideas of staying awake the whole night or half the night, or I don't know, the whole week.
Exactly. The whole past 3 years, no sleep whatsoever.
The good thing is that I purchased this little thing in the middle of the photo, the longi, which is a very good companion during the lonely nights with the computer.
You have someone to speak to look over, and you don't feel lonely.
Brew, please.
Love it.
Give me a strong one. Yeah. It's a coffee machine, everybody. If somebody didn't see or understand,
it keeps you awake when needed. But yeah, no, like I was saying, I was really fascinated also because I mean, I completely respect Berengo's career and obviously an institution. But the fact that we're both, you and I, contemporary visual artists, and from what I've seen your work, there's so much emotion in it. It's not simply documenting what you see before. I mean, your voice comes through. There's a voice there.
Thank you.
I don't know if mine comes through, but that's what I try to do when I'm doing, my work and having my own point of view and my emotions coming through that. So for us to have been put together to speak about something that's so concrete and so, this is the photo, this is the reality. Forget the emotion of even Berengo Gardin's emotion. That it's a reality that's being presented.
Yes, it's live.
So I was really, really interested in and feeling how you related to not only to the material, but it's also very interesting the director, because the director is an art historian more than an actual photographer artist. So yeah, I would be very interested in like having a Q&A with the director to understand, because you can tell that she's emotionally really involved with the city. So I was, you know, I would really love to have a Q&A with her to understand, you know, what of all these points that she touched upon, the economic, the political, the environmental, the artistic, the visual, which of these are the most fundamental and where she feels that her heartstrings are most pulled, you know, sorry, go ahead.
But you said, yes, but this is a mix and match, actually, because what I really admire about this movie, so I thought of that when I was watching it for the second time. First time I watched it because of Gianni and the plot and all the visual stuff that I saw, and then second time I was more interested in how the film was put together. But it's actually such a harmony between all those factors that make the film. And I must shake the hand to the director, because she did it really well, especially considering the fact that she didn't have such experience in making documentary movies. Really, really great.
No, I mean, she actually did the editing along with one of the producers, one of the main producers of the film. So yeah, it was extremely, extremely hand-on. But the fact that she, you know, so many different entities are involved. I mean, I just wrote down a couple of them, but you know, everything from, you know, UNESCO to the Italian environmental thing to Italia Nostra Venezia. The World Monuments Fund. I mean, going through all of that research and going to each one of these, and as you know, you do obviously get the sensation that there is an agenda behind everyone that speaks. That's kind of so to be able to tie those all together and to find the common thread that goes through it, which is Gianni. To me, yeah, it was definitely something that
I would get lost, but after they are supposed to find sense.
The fil rouge that takes from beginning to end.
Bunch of things. I would like to have her as a curator. Actually, I have a box of I call them nesvrstani in Croatian. It's the so non-belonging, maybe. The box of films I just put in that box, and they sit and stay there. I would love her to help me with that.
To go through all the material and figure out what to do with it.
I would give her a house.
You'd give her the wall behind you to start putting up the pieces where they need to go.
Yeah, definitely.
But you personally, artist and as a visionary and as a creator in your own right, which aspect were you more drawn to? Let's say, was it? I mean, I don't know how informed you were or how much, because I mean, right now as we speak, officially from the 1st of August, it's now they've completely banned the ships coming through like the main canal areas of Venice, even though on the 2nd of September, they kind of switched the law a little bit to allow a smaller amount. But where did you find yourself pinpointing yourself as a creator through this? I mean, did it touch you more on an environmental level, or was it more the political aspects of it, or I don't know. Was there anything particular about the whole dialogue that hit you that perhaps you didn't know, or that perhaps you I don't know.
I am going to be a bit trivial at the beginning of this answer. I am Pisces in zodiac.
I'm Aquarius.
Oh, my sub-sign is Aquarius. Hello.
Hey.
And we are really sensitive and empathic. So I come from Zadar, and I never go to the city in the summer. Never. I avoid it like plague.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I cannot stand the crowds, the unbearable crowds, that thing that actually ruins the soul of my city, which I loved so much when I was a little girl and when I went to high school, which was in the very center of Zadar Peninsula, which is ancient, like more than 2,000 years old. And then I related on behalf of that what I experienced with my hometown, although I've been living in Zagreb for 30 years now. But then there's the other side. It's Gianni's impeccable way of following that glory and decay, and the decay still looks like glory because of such great photographs, and those giants which are walking through the city. You know the scene with the marshmallow man from the Ghostbusters?
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I actually thought of that too. It's like a... That's funny. Yeah, I thought of that exactly too.
He made the beauty out of that ugliness and decay. And I would hug him if I could. And I had a grandmother who lived that long. She died when she was 91. And I have the biggest love for old people with a lot of energy, because he seems intact.
Completely.
He's absolutely there.
Yeah, absolutely, and aware, and aware of what's going on and how it's going on in his surroundings, and above all, aware of his place amongst that. To me, and that is fundamental as an artist.
He did a lot for his city. He published, which is an amazing number, 250 books. I was astonished when I heard that. I published none. Not you.
I have 4 published, and I'm already exhausted, and I don't want, like, it's one of the most complicated processes ever. I don't know how he got to, it took with the publishers about 1.5 years to do just one of my books. 1.5 years to go through it, to curate, to edit. Yeah. So can you imagine 250? Jeez, that's crazy.
What patience! He's like an oak or olive tree. He's really, really, really persistent.
Absolutely.
And I admire that kind of person because of that.
And I think, you know what? I think he represents Venice in a very, very true way, in the sense, you know, working with the Biennale, I'm very fortunate that I get to see a side of Venice that not many tourists get to see. Like, we actually work on the island of San Servolo, which is across from Piazza San Marco. When we go into Venice, you know, there's certain routes we take where we know the tourists aren't going to be. So Venice, like, Gianni kind of represents this side of Venice that is still stoic and is still there and will not go anywhere. You know what I mean?
I really hope so.
That needs to be continuously fed, and that needs to be continuously spoken about, because unfortunately, yes, like I said before, you know, it's becoming a tourist attraction, in the sense it's like Disneyland. Like, let's go see this really old city that has these amazing beasts coming by. And
yes,
it's crazy.
I don't. The first time I saw a cruiser from really close, I actually took a camera with me, and we were on a small boat. My friends have that boat, and I was on the island across from Zadar. It's Ugljan, and they have their summer house in Preko. It's a small place on Ugljan. It's 10 minutes with ferry from the city. And then somebody said, let's go and see the cruiser from close, because at that point I don't think they were allowed to come to the city port. And now they're actually dislocated from the center of the city to a new port, and I'm glad because of that. It's industrial part of the city, so let it be.
Yeah, which is kind of, I think, what they did with Venice.
We were on that boat, and we were actually excited to see that giant, because we were so small in comparison.
I know, exactly. You're like this little thing that's crazy. crazy. I actually have never, ever been on a cruise ship.
Me neither. I was close to it, but never.
Kind of goes against everything I'm made of, in the sense, not only because of the you know, the whole discourse we're having now about, you know, what it represents to the damage that it does, but it's just I couldn't imagine being stuck on that thing with all those people for a certain amount of days and being told you now have 3 hours to go and see the city and then be back, and then we have dinner, and no. Just it wouldn't happen.
I would sit somewhere on one place, have a coffee, and
yeah, I'd be left behind in the first port.
It's not worth it, you know, running like crazy through 2 or 3 streets of the city. It's crazy. I don't like the tours.
Yeah.
I could never live like that. Somebody says you're too small and you cannot. You don't use your money's worth. Like, what a F are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why come to Paris or to Louvre for an hour? It takes months to see the Louvre. I was there. I had 2 hours, but I didn't go in. I didn't want. So, but you know, the tourism is what. So in my home city, all the factories are gone. We used to have so many factories. We only have one, the liquor factory, Marasca, which was the first factory that made maraschino, which was taken from us. It's not maraschino, it's maraschino, the famous liquor. So the city is forced to live from tourism. Zadar. And my family lives from tourism. My mother, who's retired, and my brother, who has one job which doesn't bring him enough money to live. So they both run our house with 3 apartments.
But is it like, is it cruise tourism that they live off of? No, not at all.
No, of course not. So yes, it's important to be talking about this touring, cruising thing, which is the huge pollutant of lives and the planet Earth. That's the wakes they live in the shallow lagoons. It's something that the guy from the movie, the young boy who is all into the erosion and the environmental stuff, said it's the coast nearby retreats for 6 to 7 meters in a year,
which is unheard of. It's crazy.
I noticed that my little lagoon, in which I love to swim, it's nothing glamorous. It's called St. Peter's. It's a 10 minutes walk from my house. It's a small place called Diklo, close to Zadar, where I was born and live in. It's no more a lagoon. It's a straight line now. Yeah. So I was swimming this summer, and I said, Jesus Christ, this doesn't look like a lagoon. The erosion has done it. So it's just a straight line at the moment, and everybody says, why are you saying you are going to take us to your bay or a lagoon?
Exactly.
This is nothing like.
It's a swimming pool. It's a swimming pool.
I wish that Venice would stay that kind of thing, a bay or lagoon, to Venetians, and that they could come back to the city. But as the other guy said, you are unable to buy or rent property. They say it's only for non-residentials.
Yeah, no, and the crazy. I mean, to actually hear somebody say that Venice is basically, ruled by an app is unbelievable. I mean, just that statement says so much about how, where we are as human beings, in the here and now. And it's tragic. It's completely tragic that they have no say over. I mean, I do speak a lot to the Venetians when I'm there. This conversation has come up so much because you also really want to take into consideration the people that live there, the locals. how do they feel about it? Because they do feel it in their pocket when the cruise ships do not come through. Even if it's minimal, they still do get some kind of income through the arrival of these massive cruise ships. So it's a never-ending discourse at this point. Yeah, they can switch it, but then how do they bring the tourists in order for the locals to be able to go? How much do the locals want them to come into? I mean, who do you where do you start? Who do you start listening to? Who do you start paying attention to? And Gianni started, I think, from the a really good place in the sense of evidencing it in such a way that's it's poetically, it's beautiful. I mean, the images are beautiful, but they are so poetically tragic that you cannot remain indifferent after seeing them. No,
I was actually sad. Talking of emotions, after the 2 screenings I've seen in one day, I had one emotion: sadness. I could emphasize with everybody loving that city. I mean, the people who love Venice, whether Venetians or not, I feel sad. I think everybody feels sad. And I met 2 girls. They are working at the DA2 Festival, in which you are a part of the jury, yeah?
Yes.
So I met those 2 girls, and they said they cried the movie through.
Yeah, from the
beginning, because first they were struck with the beauty of the young Gianni's work.
Exactly.
Yes, young Gianni's work. I wanted to say young photos, but then they were crying because of everything that was happening, and I really felt sad. I didn't feel like socializing or anything after the movie. I just wanted to be somewhere and think, because it arose so many things that are bothering me, but they were buried somewhere inside of my everyday life. You just push it away for a while, but then at least 20 things came back at once, rushing. So I'm gonna be thinking about this film for a long time, because I love this planet. I love the history of this planet. I love the cities. I love the heritage. I love the heritage.
Absolutely.
Robert says we should finish, so I let you finish, please.
Me? No, please. I think I've said, I think we're both in agreement on the fact that it does hit you. It hits you beyond the cerebral. This is not just a piece that you just think about. This is a piece that leaves you with a turmoil of emotions. Like I say, since I saw it the first time, I'm questioning the economical side. I'm questioning the environmental. I'm questioning the locals. I'm questioning the people on the boat, because there's no testimony from the people on the ships that, they can travel much cheaper. They can travel much longer. They cannot have to move. It's whatever their reasons are. We have 2 seconds. Okay. But I question.
I have an idea.
We do an entire project based on the people on the ship. Love it. We do it.
We visit the cruiser for the first time. You and
together.
Me.
Yes, I love it. We
both can use the camera. We both can speak.
Exactly.
So I don't know how to edit.
Beautiful. It's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll find a way. But all I can say is thank you it's such a pleasure to meet you. I hate that we met this way online, but it's a good beginning. It's a good, sturdy beginning to hopefully a long relationship.
I'm gonna swim over to Lecce.
Okay.
It's just the Adriatic.
It's just right across. Yeah, I'll whistle. I'll whistle. You'll see me from afar.
You whistle and wave, and now we whistle and wave to everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Alec.
No, thank you too, and thank you to the festival. And we got to keep watching movies like this. I think they're fundamental to our growth as human beings. Important. Very important.
Yes, it is, and I highly recommend movies that are like this, where art keeps to art tries to save save the day.
Exactly.
And day by day, that's it.
We can do it. Thank you.